My husband was unfaithful to me. Since I discovered what he did, he's been behaving strangely. Justin and I were together for 10 years and married for 6 of those. I've spent my entire adult life with him. We started dating when I was 17 and he was 18. I always believed he was the perfect match for me, the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. But it turns out I was mistaken. I was heartbroken when I finally found out the truth. Justin had been coming home late a lot, and his excuses didn't add up. I'm not naive. I had my doubts, but I think I just didn't want to face the reality that my husband was cheating on me. To be honest, I might have gone on for years without knowing the truth if Justin hadn't become so careless. "Hey, welcome home. Did you have a great time out with the guys after work?" I asked. Justin just grunted, "Uh-huh," and brushed past me. "I made your favorite dinner beef tips and rice in case you're hungry," I said. But he just mumbled, "I already ate at the bar." I'm going to bed, and stumbled against the wall before clumsily making his way up the stairs. My heart felt heavy. Nights like this were happening more often. I loved my husband and just wanted to spend some quality time with him after a long day at work. But he couldn't even give me a few minutes of his attention. I looked up at Justin as he stumbled up the stairs, a tear rolling down my face. But in that moment, my sadness turned to intense anger. As Justin walked under the overhead light, I saw what looked like a hickey on his neck. A mix of emotions overwhelmed me: sadness, anger, and feelings of betrayal. It was like being hit with a ton of bricks. I was shocked and didn't know what to do. I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. The man I loved and trusted had hurt me deeply. I couldn't believe it. I stumbled into the kitchen, pulled out a chair, and sat down before my legs gave out. I stared blankly ahead, trying to process what I had just seen. I sat there for a long time, lost in thought. After a while, I felt numb and empty, like my whole personality had been drained away, leaving me a hollow shell. Then, a thought suddenly popped into my head. I must have been seeing things. It was just a trick of the light. The hallway was pretty dark, after all. But I needed to be sure. I sneaked upstairs, leaving my dinner behind. I crept up to our bedroom as quietly as possible, then gently pushed open the door. Justin was fast asleep, completely unaware of my presence. I didn't hesitate. I quickly moved across the room, being careful not to step on any creaky floorboards, and took a closer look at Justin's neck. As I got nearer, his snores got louder. He had always been a deep sleeper, never easily woken up. I muttered a curse when I got a closer look. Justin was sleeping on his side, and I wasn't about to try to roll him over, so I looked around for something that might give me concrete proof. My eyes landed on the bedside table. Yes, I grabbed Justin's phone from the charger. I held my breath as I used his thumb to unlock the screen. I felt a thrill of excitement when I succeeded. Just then, Justin stirred, mumbling "wah, ha." I froze, holding my breath. Justin slowly opened his eyes, barely a slit. As my hand hovered above him, my heart stopped, and I prayed fervently that he would just go back to sleep. To my surprise, he did. Justin mumbled something incoherent, pulled the covers closer, and fell back asleep. I had narrowly escaped detection. I realized I had to be more cautious from now on. I immediately checked Justin's texts. My heart sank when I saw a woman's name I didn't know. The messages made my heart break into a million pieces. "Hey baby, last night was incredible. See you again after work today." The flirtatious tone and winking face said it all. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "What about that wife of yours, though? Won't she get suspicious? Her? Not a chance. Even if she does find out, she won't leave. I could disappoint her in the worst way in front of her, and she'd still think I was a saint." A fierce anger burned inside me. Did Justin really think I was that weak? He obviously saw me as a pushover with no backbone. Well, I would prove him wrong. I took screenshots of the evidence, including dozens of nude photos that weren't mine, and sent them to myself. I deleted any proof that I had snooped, then put Justin's phone back on the charger. I stormed out of the room, grabbing my keys on the way. But as I reached the living room, it hit me I had nowhere to go. All my family members lived 7 hours away, so that wasn't an option. It was too late to book a good hotel, and I didn't want to burden my friends with my problems just yet. That left me with only one choice: sleeping on the couch. I sat down on the sofa and let out a deep sigh. I didn't want to face it, but I knew what I had to do. In the morning, I would find a lawyer and start the process of divorcing Justin. The thought of divorce was too much to bear. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. I cried uncontrollably, silently sobbing into a pillow for hours. My eyes were swollen and puffy by the time I finally stopped. I didn't think I could fall asleep in that state, but I must have eventually. Because the next thing I knew, sunlight was streaming through the blinds. Justin's cheerful greeting was like a punch to the gut. "Morning, babe. How'd you—" But the words got stuck in my throat. That's right, I thought. Justin and I were done. I reached for my phone on the coffee table, tears welling up in my eyes. I opened the text I had sent myself as proof of the painful events of the past 12 hours. But to my shock, the messages were gone. I stared at the screen in disbelief. That couldn't be right. I knew I had seen them clearly the night before. Something strange was going on. I sat up straight, my heart racing. Was that breakfast? The delicious smell of eggs and bacon came from the kitchen. I was surprised because Justin never cooked. I got up slowly, my heart beating fast, and went towards the kitchen. I was curious and a little scared. I looked around the corner and couldn't believe my eyes. There was Justin, humming a happy tune while making pancakes. I rubbed my eyes, wondering if I was hallucinating. Was I really seeing Justin cooking and acting sweet? I must be exhausted and seeing things, but then Justin turned around, his piercing blue eyes meeting mine. "Good morning, princess," he said with a smile. "I hope you're hungry. I saw you sleeping on the couch and thought you might not be feeling well, so I made you a hot meal to help you feel better." My heart skipped a beat. Was this really my husband? He looked and sounded like him, but something was off. I was cautious. "Yeah, I'm just a little sick," I said. "But are you okay? You're acting strange." "I've never felt better," Justin exclaimed, setting a hot plate of food in front of me. "I think I've really changed for the better. The old Justin is gone. From now on, I promise to be the best husband I can be." Our eyes met, and I tried to read his expression. He seemed sincere. If this was an act, it was a very convincing one. "Thanks, babe. That makes me really happy to hear," I said, feeling a warmth in my heart as Justin smiled at me. It had been years since he looked at me with such affection. "Well, get used to it," he said, his smile still shining bright. "I'm keeping my promise. I love you, Lydia." I wanted to be skeptical and keep my distance, but it was hard to resist. All I had ever wanted was love and attention, and now I was finally getting it. For the first time in a long time, it felt like my husband truly cared about me. "I love you too, Justin," I said softly. Before taking a bite of my food, a part of me still didn't fully trust my husband. His sudden change of heart seemed too convenient. But despite my doubts, Justin was keeping his promises. He took me on romantic dates, pampered me with nail salon visits, bought me flowers, and even helped with household chores. I was impressed. If he had continued like this, I might have never suspected anything. But one night, while we were cuddled up on the couch watching The Truman Show, I asked him a question. Now, I wish I had kept quiet. "Hey babe," I asked, trying to sound casual. "Yes, my love," Justin replied, his eyes still fixed on the TV screen. "If someone close to you was an imposter, like an exact copy with just a few small differences, do you think you'd notice?" Justin's body tensed up, his eyes widening as he slowly turned to face me. His expression was blank, and a chill ran down my spine as he stared at me like that. He was starting to scare me. "I guess so." "Why do you ask?" Justin replied, his voice flat and urgent. I was taken aback by his sudden change in demeanor. "It's just the idea of the movie we're watching," I explained, trying to downplay my question. As I spoke, the color returned to Justin's face and he relaxed, exhaling a sigh of relief. I raised an eyebrow, curious about his strange behavior. Why was he acting so weirdly? "That makes sense," Justin said, and we both turned our attention back to the TV, sitting in an uncomfortable silence. After a few more tense moments, I couldn't take it anymore. "I need to use the bathroom and charge my phone. I'll be right back. No need to pause the movie for me." Justin nodded, then flashed a grin at me. But something about his smile caught my attention. Had his teeth always been that straight? "Okay, baby girl, hurry back. Don't let your spot get cold," Justin called out as I left. "Yeah, sure thing," I replied, quickly heading up the stairs and locking myself in our room. I leaned against the door, trying to calm my racing heart. What was going on? Was I just being paranoid, or was Justin's behavior really weird? Either way, I needed a minute to collect myself. I was standing with my eyes closed, focusing on my breathing when I heard my phone buzzing in my pocket. I quickly pulled it out and looked at the screen. It was an unknown number. I usually don't answer calls from strangers, but something made me want to answer this one. Maybe it was intuition or just a desire to talk to someone other than Justin. I decided to accept the call. "Hello," I said hesitantly. "Lydia?" "Lydia Atkins," a voice asked. "Yes, that's me," I replied. "Look, this is going to sound crazy, but please listen to what I have to say," the voice continued. Okay," I replied hesitantly, but before the caller could continue, I was startled by loud knocks on the door. "Lydia. Lydia, who are you talking to?" Justin shouted from the other side. Panic set in as I frantically searched for an excuse. "What? It's my mom. Go back downstairs, I'll be there in a minute," I called out, trying to sound calm. I moved away from the door, whispering into the phone, "That was him, wasn't it?" "Yes, that was my husband." "Why do you ask?" The caller's question sent a chill down my spine. "Lydia, please listen to me. Can you promise me that the woman asked?" her voice urgent. But before I could respond, the pounding on the door grew even louder. "Lydia, don't listen to her. She's a liar," Justin shouted. My stomach twisted with anxiety. How did he know who I was talking to? "I'm listening. I'll hear what you have to say," I said, trying to stay calm. The woman, Adeline, sighed in relief. "Okay, Justin and I have been having an affair for 9 months. And the man in your house, he's not your husband." I felt a chill run down my spine, and my body began to shake. No, this couldn't be true. I asked the question that would haunt me forever, my voice trembling. "How do I know you're telling the truth?" There was a long, eerie silence, punctuated only by the increasingly loud banging on the door. When Adeline finally spoke, her words sent a wave of fear through me. "Lydia, for the past week, Justin has been living with me." I knew, without a doubt, that I was in grave danger. Story 168. Ada for telling my neighbor to grow up, get a life, and get the fuck over the fact that I painted my house a color he doesn't like.